Have you ever wondered about the history of Gene Hackman? Gene Hackman is one of Hollywood's most iconic and versatile actors, whose career spanned over 5 decades and left a large mark on the cinematic landscape. Known for his intense performances, Hackman became one of the most respected actors of his generation. His career was built on roles that ranged from the tough, no-nonsense authority figures to more complex, morally ambiguous characters. Let's dive into Hackman's early life, his journey into acting, the peak of his career, and his eventual retirement, highlighting the history of this legendary figure in film. Welcome to History Wonder. Born Eugene Allen Hackman on January 30th, 1930 in San Bernardino, California, Gene Hackman came into the world during a tumultuous period in American history. His father, an alcoholic, abandoned the family when Gene was a child, leaving his mother to raise him and his brother. Hackman's early years were marked by instability and the family moved frequently, finally settling in Danville, Illinois, where Gene grew up. Hackman was not initially interested in acting. His first passion was actually the military, and he joined the U.S. Marines at the age of 16 during the tail end of World War II. However, after his service, he realized that military life was not for him, and he enrolled in college at the University of Illinois, where he studied journalism and worked for the school's newspaper. While there, Hackman's interest in acting began to blossom. He performed in college theater productions, which ultimately led him to pursue a career in the arts. After graduating, Hackman moved to New York City to study acting at the prestigious American Academy of Dramatic Arts. His early years in New York were tough, filled with small roles and financial struggles. However, his persistence paid off, and he began to attract the attention of directors, eventually making a name for himself in the theater world. Hackman's big break came in the early 1960s when he began working with the Actors Studio, a renowned institution that developed actors through a methodical, emotionally intense approach to acting. Hackman's ability to convey raw emotion, combined with his keen sense of the character, made him a standout among his peers. He started to land more television roles, often in guest spots on popular shows like The Twilight Zone and The Defenders. It wasn't until 1967, however, that Hackman truly became a household name. His role in the film Bonnie and Clyde in 1967 cemented his place in Hollywood history. Directed by Arthur Penn, the film was revolutionary in its portrayal of violence and anti-establishment themes. Hackman played Buck Barrow, the older brother of Clyde Barrow, played by Warren Beatty. And while his role was not the lead, it was pivotal in showcasing his immense acting talent. Bonnie and Clyde was a critical and commercial success, and Hackman was nominated for his first Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Despite his success with Bonnie and Clyde, Hackman's career didn't immediately catapult him to the top. He faced a series of struggles in the following years, landing roles in lesser films that didn't quite match the promise he showed, but Hackman was undeterred, determined to build a career based on merit rather than celebrity. The 1970s were a defining decade for Hackman, as he solidified his reputation as one of Hollywood's most versatile and dynamic actors. His ability to slip into a wide range of roles, from villains to anti-heroes, made him one of the most sought-after performers of the time. In 1971, Hackman played a key role in The French Connection, a gritty cop drama directed by William Friedkin. Hackman portrayed the tough, dogged detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle, a role that earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. His portrayal of Popeye Doyle became legendary, and it remains one of the most iconic roles in American cinema. The French Connection was a critical and commercial success, and Hackman's performance was widely praised for its raw energy, realism, and depth. That same year, Hackman was also part of the ensemble cast of A Bridge Too Far in 1977, a World War II epic directed by Richard Attenborough. While his role was smaller in comparison to others in the film, Hackman's performance added to his growing reputation as a versatile actor capable of handling a range of genres and characters. Perhaps one of the most notable roles Hackman took on in the 1970s was in The Conversation in 1974, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Hackman portrayed Henry Cowell, a paranoid surveillance expert who becomes entangled in a complex web of conspiracy. The film was a critical success, and Hackman's subtle, layered performance as a man who is both detached and deeply conflicted about his work, was lauded by critics. Hackman's star was certainly on the rise during the 70s, but his career wasn't without challenges. He still found himself typecast in a few roles, often playing intense, morally ambiguous characters. However, it was Hackman's willingness to take on such roles that helped him maintain a high level of visibility, even if it didn't always result in box office success. By the 80s, Hackman had firmly established himself as one of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. The decade saw him continuing to take on diverse roles, from villains to heroes, and he became one of the top-paid actors in the industry. One of Hackman's most famous roles in the 80s came in 1980 with Superman, directed by Richard Donner. Hackman played the villainous Lex Luthor, a role that became a defining part of his legacy. Hackman's Luthor was a brilliant but ruthless mastermind, and his portrayal of the iconic character was both menacing and amusing, adding depth to what could have been a one-dimensional antagonist. The film was a massive hit, and Hackman's performance was widely praised. Another notable role Hackman took on in the 80s was in Mississippi Burning in 1988, where he portrayed a Southern FBI agent investigating the 1964 murders of civil rights workers. His performance earned him another Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, and the film went on to become a critical and commercial success. Hackman's versatility as an actor was showcased in Hoosiers in 1986, where he played Norman Dale, a troubled basketball coach. The film was not only a success at the box office, but also a critical triumph, further cementing Hackman's place as a Hollywood legend. In 1992, Hackman delivered one of the most powerful performances as the ruthless sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. The revisionist Western, which deconstructed the myths of heroism in the Old West, saw Hackman play a brutal yet strangely charismatic lawman. His performance was both terrifying and nuanced, earning him his second Academy Award, this time for Best Supporting Actor. Unforgiven remains one of the greatest Westerns ever made, and Hackman's performance was a key part of his success. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, Hackman continued to deliver strong performances in a variety of films. The Firm in 1993 saw him play a corrupt lawyer in a tense legal thriller opposite Tom Cruise. In Crimson Tide in 1995, Hackman played a commanding but rigid submarine captain clashing with Denzel Washington in a gripping military drama. His comedic side was on full display in Get Shorty in 1995, where he played a hapless B-movie producer caught in the middle of a gangster's Hollywood ambitions. The Birdcage in 1996 showed another lighter side of Hackman, as he portrayed a conservative senator hilariously caught up in a clash of cultures when his daughter becomes engaged to the son of a gay nightclub owner. He returned to the action and thriller territory with Enemy of the State in 1998, playing a former intelligence operative who aids Will Smith's character in evading government surveillance. Other notable performances during this timeline include Wyatt Earp in 94, The Quick and the Dead in 95, and Runaway Jury in 2003. He also starred in Heist in 2001, a crime thriller directed by David Mamet, proving he could still play cunning and dangerous characters well into his later years. One of Hackman's standout performances in the 90s came in the 1997 film The Royal Tenenbaums, directed by Wes Anderson. Hackman played Royal Tenenbaum, a flawed but lovable patriarch of a dysfunctional family. The film was a critical success and was noted for Hackman's nuanced comedic performance, which demonstrated his continued ability to play both serious and comedic roles. Despite being in his 60s, Hackman's performances remained as impactful as ever, and he continued to work consistently throughout the decade. By the end of the 90s, he had become one of the most respected actors of his generation. In 2004, after decades of work in Hollywood, Hackman announced his retirement from acting, citing a desire to focus on writing and other personal interests. His final film appearance was in Welcome to Mooseport in 2004, a comedy in which he starred alongside Ray Romano. Since his retirement, Hackman has largely stayed out of the public eye, though his legacy continues to be celebrated. He remains one of the most highly regarded actors of his time, with a career that spans multiple genres and decades. His contributions to film are immeasurable, and his ability to create complex, memorable characters has left a permanent mark on Hollywood. Gene Hackman's career serves as a testament to the power of versatility and persistence in the film industry. From his early days in theater to his rise as one of Hollywood's most respected actors, Hackman's journey was one of resilience, talent, and remarkable range. His influence on the world of film endures, and his legacy as one of the greatest actors of all time is firmly cemented. Thanks for watching. What topics in history have you wondered about? Comment below and let us know what videos you would like to see. And be sure to like and subscribe.